Hi, this is Michelle. In this video, I'm going to show you how I did couching for the name on this stocking I just finished. 6 strands of DMC red 321 and 4 strands of white. So here's what I did. I'm just going to show you on some scrap felt, but I wrote the name on tissue paper because I'm using dark green and on the stocking it was dark blue. If you're using a lighter color felt, you could just write it on with you know, a good marker. I like these King Art markers right now. That's what I've been using to write on the felt. But since it's dark felt, I wrote the name with pencil. And then with my number 6 needle from the kit, I put 6 whole strands, just like you get it out of the kit. There's 6 strands in here, 36 inches long. I put one in through the needle, tied a knot at the other end. So that's what I'm going to use the red. And then for the white, I used, well, 4 strands. But actually what I did was I took 2, you separate it out, pull it apart. Once you get it all apart, so I have 2 strands right here, but if I take 2 of the ends, put 2 ends through the needle, pull it down, then tie it, I now have 18 inches of floss, but I have 4 strands. You can see there's 2 here and 2 here, so I have 4 strands. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come up where the E is. I'm gonna start at the top, and I'll come up from the back. And so this red floss, I'm just gonna kind of lay it along where I wrote the E. And then I'm gonna come along with my white, my 4 strands of white. And I didn't really measure it. I just kind of went for the look I wanted. And every, I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5 millimeters, I did a stitch with the white. So there's one. And I'm gonna kind of like guide the red along my pencil marks. And I'm using the 36 inches of the red because I'm really not going in and out of the felt. I'm just kind of guiding it along, and I thought it would work better. That way I don't have to keep cutting it and starting over and knotting it. This way you can just take the whole thing and just go right along with it. My white, I will have to cut that off. I'm doing a shorter name here, but for the name I did on the other stocking, Jennifer, I had to use a lot of white, but I just found it easier to work with the 18-inch strand, you know, the 2 doubled up to make 4. I found it easier to work with, pulling it through. So here I am, I'm just kind of following along. And every so often, kind of keeping, you know, I'm trying to keep my white stitches even and close together because I really want that red to be right on my pencil mark. So you could really do this with any color. I just chose red and white because I wanted, you know, kind of like the look of a candy cane. And it was just something different. Usually I just do 3 strands, and I do a split stitch, but I thought I'll do something different on this one. Make it stand out, make it look, I don't know, I think it looks really neat. So I'm about halfway done with this E. This does take quite a bit of time. I think when I did the name Jennifer on the stocking, I think it took me about 45 minutes to do the name like this. If I stitch it, it takes me, I don't know, maybe 10. But this does take a little bit of time, but it does look really neat when it's all done. Once I get this E done, then I'll show you ripping off the tissue paper. And I still have a lot of red left. So probably with this whole 36 inches, I could probably do the whole name. I just wrote Erin, E-R-I-N on this. I could probably do the whole name with the red. So, a couple more stitches. And if you write it on the felt, obviously you won't need to rip the tissue paper away and you'll be pretty much finished. So here I am, I'm at the end of the E. So what I'm gonna do is, I have my needle that the red is on, and I'm gonna push it back through, but you wanna be careful not to catch your white, because you don't wanna get that all tangled up together. So keep that out of the way. Pull your red through. And then once you have that at the end of your E, then you can anchor that. So it's right there at the end. Now you have your E finished. And then I just went back and I just tied the two together to end for the E. And so what I'll do is, now that I've finished the E, I will cut off the red because I'm gonna come up back where the R is. But I'll leave the white. So what I'll do then is, I'll start here where the R starts. And I'll come up and do the same thing again and follow this all along. And then every time you end somewhere, like I'm not going to connect the R and the I, so I would go back through with the red right here and then come back up where the N is. It makes it look much neater, I think. So now that, say I'm done, and I've got everything knotted back here, so now would be the time when I would take the tissue paper off. So remove these pins. And when I take tissue paper off, I hold, like if the whole name was done, I hold it down and I'll pull it apart, but I put my finger over the stitches because I don't want to disturb them, and putting my finger on them kind of holds it. And then what I'll do is, I have these embroidery tweezers. They've got a nice end on them, very pointy. And I pull away all the extra tissue paper in all the little cracks and crevices. And you want to do this carefully because you don't want to disturb your stitches, and kind of help yourself out and use your thumbnail or your finger or whatever and hold those stitches down so you don't disturb your letters while you're doing it. And once you get all that out, this looks really nice on the green. So there's the E in the couching. And that's how I did it on the stocking. There you go. Have fun.